What is going on, YouTube fam? Steven from the Vargas team here again, and welcome to another video. So as you could probably see from the title of this video, this content or this video is different than the traditional content that you'll come to find on this channel. And that's because instead of you guys coming along with me to see a property tour, you guys will be coming along in this video to the Rolex store. Now, the reason behind this purchase and the motivation for me to do a video like this and how in the world this ties into real estate will all make sense as I break all of those things down in the latter part of this video. So definitely stick around, but definitely trust me that this does have a good foundation to real estate and what I truly believe that everybody as an investor or future investor should be doing. And if you're new to the channel, this is a Miami real estate channel where I do property tour videos and other Miami real estate content like this video. So if you're interested in knowing more about the Miami real estate market, then obviously you're in the right place. Subscribe to the channel by clicking that subscribe button and notification bell as I post a new video each and every week. And if you've been here before, then obviously you know you can help me out by liking this video and clicking that subscribe button. That tells YouTube that this is the type of content that more people want to see, and that truly helps me out. Now, before we get started with the pickup and you guys coming along to the Rolex store and then me breaking down as to exactly why I'm doing this video and how this ties into real estate, we first have to go back into time to see a phone call that I got that relates to this pickup, and then we'll get started from there. So let's get back into that portion of the video and then we'll just move forward. And again, all of this will hopefully make sense. All right, let's go. Hello?
Hi, Steven.
Hey, Susanna, how are you?
Good, and you?
Good, good.
Yeah, the one just had along for you to pick it up.
Awesome, okay. Are you there today?
Yes, but we are taking our last appointment. We close at 6. Okay, perfect. Tomorrow, 1:30 then.
Awesome, thank you. See you then.
See you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye. So you just saw the call, and what that is about is real quick in a nutshell before we dive into this vlog. And if you want to just go and skip into the actual vlog and the pickup and the review and all that stuff, I'm going to timestamp that and where that starts somewhere down here so you don't have to sit through this. But if you want to know exactly why I'm making this video and how this ties in, then obviously let's get started with that. So that call has been about 7 months in the making. So how this all came about was I just recently got into watches about 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago. Really before then, I didn't really pay attention to watches. It wasn't really something that I was interested in, and I was cool without wearing any watch. Now, that all changed when I started getting into a couple videos that showed up on my YouTube timeline. And one in particular from Hodinky on Talking Watches, which is now a great favorite series of mine. And if you're in the watch community, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. And there was one in particular with John Mayer that really got or opened my eyes into the world of watches, and not necessarily luxury watches, but just the art of the watchmaking itself. Now, in that video, he describes a lot of things about, you know, his passion for watches and how it's tailor-made, and each piece is uniquely made almost to the person who wants to buy it, and how these things were essentially utility pieces and were meant for some purpose, and it wasn't just a luxury item, at least not at the time when it was created. But really, I have to say that what made me take that leap was an interview that I read or I saw with Anthony Bourdain, and I may be butchering exactly what he says, but the gist of the interview was somebody had asked him why he wears an Oyster Perpetual, which is a Rolex, kind of like an entry-level Rolex, if you will, although some of these pieces are now super expensive, especially the very colorful OPs. But besides the point, he was wearing an Oyster Perpetual, and an interviewer had asked him if why he wears that watch, knowing, I think, because he has a vast watch collection, or is at least very much into watches. And his response kind of spoke to me, because his response was saying that this piece was worn by his dad and was passed down to him. So not only is it an heirloom and has a lot of tons of sentimental value, but one of the cool things that he said in that interview was the watch is only powered by movement. So as the more you move, the more the rotor moves, and that is what powers the battery, rather. And what's cool is how he related that to his father, which he said, this watch that is now powered by my movement was once powered by my dad's movement. So it's kind of cool to have it on your wrist, knowing that this watch operated with the movement that my dad had. So it has a ton of sentimental value. And it really spoke to me because he, as an older man, still holds that so valuable to him and probably would never part with it. And I thought it was really cool, and it really came at a good time because this is around the time that I found out that I was going to have a son. So as a father, I'm starting to think of legacy and things like that. Maybe a little bit too early, but I'm always constantly thinking about what I'm going to leave my kids in the future and all that stuff. And aside of real estate and businesses, which is something that I definitely want to do, I thought of what's a cool item that is kind of like almost like an heirloom I could pass down that he can cherish and covet or do whatever he wants with it, but ultimately he knows that it came from me and it came from a good place. And that's where this watch came in. And there could have been a million other things, but at least that's what I correlated with me. with that interview that Anthony Bourdain was talking about. I thought, wouldn't it be cool if we can share something that I wore with pride, that I liked, that came with me to pretty much everything, and he would know that it was powered by my movement, and therefore when I pass it down to him whenever he's 18 or of age or whenever that happens, he would know that this is something special to him because it was special to me. Or hopefully that is the idea. Now, of course, we're getting into the world of luxury watchmaking, so there is that component of just having a luxury watch in and of itself. And this kind of new hobby has become addicting because even though I've been waiting 7 months for this watch because I placed this order back in June, and that's a whole nother story, I'm already looking into a second piece. And this is from somebody who never really cared about watchmaking or watches in the first place. So it's really a cool hobby, and the community is really interesting as well. They're very supportive in a lot of things and making sure people build the watch collection that they want that suits them. And I've made a lot of good friends within this watch community, and we share kind of like a very interested hobby, and we're constantly passing back information. Some of my clients even are big into watches, as you can imagine, and so they share a lot of that stuff with me. And I just think it's another cool facet and layer of getting to know people, because I do think that what you wear and the watch that you wear and the watch that you go with kind of speaks to your personality. Which brings us back to this video. You now know my motivation behind it, why I'm actually buying this timepiece, and it has more to do with my son than it being a luxury good. But it also has to do with the component that I don't really own any watches, and it'd be cool to get into this new hobby that I'm all of a sudden interested in. So that's the motivation. But then the question is, well, how in the world does this tie into real estate? And that is where I present to you the duplex that I bought last year. And I did a video on that where I broke down the numbers, why I bought it, how much money it's going to be making me. So I'm not going to be talking about any of those details now because I did a very long video breaking all of that down. So if you want to see that video, then go ahead and click on this card that I'm going to put somewhere here or a link in the description. It will take you into that duplex purchase. But the point of the matter is that that duplex was kind of thoughtfully purchased in a weird way to afford this. Not necessarily this watch per se, but these luxuries in the future. My mindset has always worked out that if you do not have any investments that are paying you passive income, I, at least for me, am in no position to be buying any luxury goods. That goes for cars, clothes, watches. And I, as a person who enjoys these things, have always said to myself, well, if you do want to ultimately have them and, buy them without any buyer's guilt or remorse or whatever, you have to invest in things that will pay you passive income and then use the passive income to go ahead and fund these purchases. And that is exactly what we're doing with this duplex that I purchased. So the point of this video is that if you're in a similar position that I'm in, which is I want to buy a watch, a car, whatever you're interested in, travel, but you also don't want to be in a position where you're sacrificing your future growth, your business, or just want to be more responsible, financially responsible, then you have to look at it as how I view these things, which is invest in real estate or any passive instrument that gives you money on a monthly basis, and then use that passive income to buy a luxury that you want. And the point of this video is that if you cannot afford it because the passive income is not high enough to get to where you need it to be, then bingo. You just need to keep working harder to get that passive income to become to that point or get to that point where you want it to be so you can afford these luxuries. And that's the point of this video. I hope that this can motivate you and inspire you if you're in a position where you don't own any real estate to own real estate, not necessarily for your financial security and financial freedom, which is top priority, I believe, but also in a secondary matter, how you can afford these luxury items and not feel guilty about it. Because at least for me, that was my biggest thing. That's pretty much it, guys. I know that was a long-winded explanation, but I do want it to make sense because this, of course, is a real estate channel after all, and our intention here is to bring you real estate information. But I did think that this was a cool twist and the type of new content that I haven't presented to you guys in the past before. And I'm interested in doing more content like this because I do have other luxury goods that I've purchased, that I'm buying, that I'm in the process of doing and negotiating, that I do want to present on this channel. I don't want it to come off as braggadocious. That's not the point of this, but the point is to show you how real estate can fund a lifestyle so that you don't use your earned income, but you use your passive income. And hopefully that can be some sort of education. And if that's not cool at all, then that's not the type of content I'll be doing. We'll just stick to the property tour videos. But if this is something that you want to see more of, and you're interested in seeing how in the world this affects me and my life and how it can hopefully help you, then let me know in the comment section below. Like this video, of course, because that obviously tells me that I'm doing something right. Now, with all that being said, let's go ahead and pick this up because I'm sure you guys want to see it. Oh, one quick thing. I bought this watch in this configuration because it's the only configuration that Rolex can sell you at the moment. I don't want to dive too deep into it, but the Rolex or the watch market, the luxury watch market, is very similar to the real estate market where there is no inventory. You have to be on a list, you have to wait, and you can't even get really the pieces that you want. So this piece, although it wasn't the first choice for me, was a choice that I was okay with having because I thought it was a cool watch. And the idea here is to build a relationship with the AD. Hopefully at some point they'll call me with new allocations of new watches becoming available so that I could buy these watches that I essentially want, which are some of the steel models and some other things. Again, the point isn't to go into too much detail on that, but the point is to show you that this watch, although not the configuration that I initially wanted, I'm still very happy with this configuration, and it's a crazy market out there. So there is a lot of similarities into the real estate market and the luxury watch market and luxury goods for that matter. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. You'll follow along with me on the purchase, then we'll come back here and somehow do some sort of unveiling or unboxing or just a simple review, or maybe I just do some B-roll. We'll see. Anyways, let's get started. So it is the next day because I wasn't able to get an appointment for the same day in which I started filming. So hence the change of clothes. But we are headed on the way to Rolex to pick up the timepiece. I'm here with my family, my beautiful wife, and my amazing handsome son who's back there that you can't really see. But the point is, they're coming along. It's part of the experience. The watch is essentially for Harrison when he turns of age, whenever that is, but that was the point of today. So let's get to it and let's just get started with this entire process. It's new to me, so come along for the ride. Guys, welcome back. So as you can see, Rolex did not allow me to film inside. You know, their privacy issues, COVID, call it what you want to call it, they didn't let me film inside. I did try to take a few snaps inside and a quick video just so you can see, which is a shame because I really wanted to share this process, especially for those of you who've never gone through this process before. And even if those of you who have, the process during COVID I think is interesting. And since it's my first time, at least with any luxury watch of this magnitude, I thought it was cool to share this experience and document it, at least for my future reference and even my son's future reference, because it is his watch at the end of the day. So it'd be cool for him to see and experience that he came along and went, but obviously we weren't able to do that. But you're going to try to make things as cool as possible. As I mentioned, well, first and foremost, let me just share this. This is the watch itself. So I'll put some B-roll here because I think it may be a little too far for the camera. But essentially, we'll look at a couple things. Again, this is not a review. It's not an unboxing. There's plenty of those videos out there. And I am not a watch. I'm a watch enthusiast. I'm definitely not a watch professional. I'm not an expert on these things. So I would definitely not be doing this justice. But I do want to give my thoughts and you know how I feel about the watch because this is mine. So I'll just do a quick look at the box, or an overview of the box and the watch itself, if you will, and hopefully that will kind of give you an idea. So the box has this cool outer box first, which is like this beige off-white type of color. I think it's really cool. It's like a box protector, if you will, but it does have the Rolex logo, the crown embroidered in it, which is also really just, you know, high-end, high quality. So when you open up the top box of it, or the outer box, you see the green box, or the main Rolex box is the green that Rolex is known for, and it has this flap, and you open it up, and you know, again, everything's super professional. You have this white envelope, which is your receipt, and then you have like the styrofoam thing that which will move here, and then slides out the green box. So really cool presentation. I really like this green color as well, the crown on the top of the box. And then when you open it up, you just have your watch pillow, which obviously the watch is not here. The watch is on me. And then you have, you know, on the top layer where the Rolex logo is, you have this like little compartment, and you open the compartment and there you have your warranty card and like more like a manual of how you should operate the watch and etc. Really cool fact, this little sticker or hanger, as they call it, the certified hanger, you know, if you're ever going to wear your watch, or rather sell your watch, definitely keep this, because this should add like another $500 to $1,000 in value. This little hanger alone. Pretty much everything as a watch enthusiast, whenever you sell or buy a pre-owned watch, you want it to come, as they refer to as, complete. So with everything that came originally with the box or with the watch when you bought it, that's what most people want. So food for thought, if you're ever going to buy something like this, keep the stickers, the box, the hanger, everything that you can. Again, that's not the intention of my watch, because this is something that I'm going to pass down, but I do think that it's kind of cool for those of you guys who are looking to get into the watch community. That may be something that you may want to think of moving on. So the watch itself, as you can see, is a datejust, which just basically means that you have the date on the 3 o'clock, and it has the, the Cyclops magnification. So there is other variations where you see the day and the date. That's not this watch. This watch is just datejust, hence datejust. Now this one is a 41 millimeter. This does come in 2 sizes. I've seen other sizes. I'm not sure if Rolex is offering it at the moment, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but right now it's just coming in 36 and 41 millimeters. The 36 is obviously smaller than this one because this is the 41 millimeter, but the 36 is traditionally what women usually buy nowadays. Now, let me preface that. A lot of men still buy this, and 36 used to be the traditional men's size. Now with the trends and things changing, obviously 41 has kind of taken its place, but I do see a lot of 36 watches or men wearing them, and they look great. So obviously it just depends on the watch, your wrist size, and the lugs itself on how the watch is designed could make it feel bigger even though it isn't bigger. So yeah guys, I hope this video all ties in together and makes sense with how real estate has allowed me to do these things. I'm a huge proponent of passive income and financial freedom and lifestyle freedom, which is the surplus after financial freedom to enjoy the luxuries and the lifestyle that you want. And because this is a real estate channel, I did think it was a nice change in pace to kind of show you a different side of not just me, but also real estate and how real estate can fund these things. And it doesn't always have to be numbers and you know, in many cases to a lot of people boring. To me, obviously not, but you know, tenants and toilets and termites and roofs and all those things that real estate is known for. But it does have a cool, you know, side of it, which is, you know, what you're left with, which after you take care of everything else, you should have enough money to go ahead and fund that type of lifestyle. And the purpose of this video and any other future video that I do is hopefully to tie in how these investments are, number one, fundamental for you and your family and your legacy, but also how they can be fun. And hopefully that is what you got out of this video. And if not, then obviously let me know in the comment section below. But if you did, then obviously help me out by clicking that like button. Thank you guys so much for making it this far. I think if you did make it this far, it's truly helpful, not only for my watch time, but also that you just actually care to stay this long to see what I had to say about this video. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you all next week on my weekly video. Click that notification bell to be notified. And thank you. God bless.